Amsterdam, a city renowned for its canals, bicycles, and liberal attitudes. Tourists flock to experience its vibrant culture and relaxed atmosphere, drawn by its rich history, artistic heritage, and the promise of freedom. But beneath this picturesque facade lies a darker reality, one that many visitors never see. Amsterdam is grappling with a serious drug problem, one that casts a long shadow over its streets and affects the lives of countless residents. This is the story of Amsterdam's deadly drug market, a hidden world that operates in the shadows. The city's association with drugs dates back decades, often linked to its tolerant approach towards soft drugs. What began with cannabis coffee shops has morphed into a complex web of illegal trade, addiction, and violence, affecting every corner of the city. This isn't just about marijuana anymore. We're talking about hard drugs, synthetic substances, and the criminal networks profiting from them. The impact is far-reaching, touching lives in ways that are often unseen and unspoken. Amsterdam's journey into the heart of the drug trade began in the 1970s. A permissive attitude towards cannabis led to the establishment of coffee shops. These venues, licensed to sell cannabis, were initially intended to separate soft and hard drug markets. The idea was to regulate and control cannabis use while keeping harder substances at bay. However, this approach had unintended consequences. The availability of cannabis, while controlled, arguably acted as a gateway for some to harder drugs. Additionally, the coffee shops themselves became targets for criminal organizations seeking to expand their operations. The lines between soft and hard drug markets blurred. Today, Amsterdam faces a new challenge: synthetic drugs. These substances, often produced in clandestine labs, are potent, unpredictable, and readily available. From ecstasy to amphetamines and novel psychoactive substances, the market is flooded with dangerous chemicals masquerading as recreational drugs. The production of synthetic drugs is cheaper and less risky for criminal organizations compared to traditional drugs like heroin or cocaine. This has led to a surge in their availability, making them more accessible and affordable, particularly among young people. The consequences have been devastating. The drug trade in Amsterdam, like in many cities worldwide, is firmly in the grip of organized crime. These groups are sophisticated, ruthless, and driven by profit. They control the supply chains, distribution networks, and often resort to violence to protect their interests. Turf wars between rival gangs are not uncommon, leading to shootings, stabbings, and a climate of fear in affected neighborhoods. This violence spills over, impacting innocent bystanders and eroding the social fabric of communities. The police and authorities face an uphill battle in trying to dismantle these criminal networks. Section 5. Lives torn apart. The human cost. The human cost of Amsterdam's drug trade is immeasurable. Behind the statistics and headlines are real people whose lives have been shattered by addiction, violence, and despair. We meet Sarah, a young woman who dropped out of university after becoming addicted to heroin. Her story is a tragic reminder of the grip these substances can have. Then there's Pieter, a former drug dealer who lost his brother to a gangland shooting. His experience underscores the brutal reality of the drug trade and the cycle of violence it perpetuates. Section 6. The struggle for solutions. Addressing Amsterdam's drug problem is a complex task with no easy solutions. Authorities are exploring various approaches, each with its own set of challenges and potential pitfalls. One strategy focuses on harm reduction, providing clean needles, safe injection sites, and access to addiction treatment. While controversial, these measures aim to mitigate the negative consequences of drug use, such as the spread of HIV and overdoses. However, critics argue that such initiatives normalize drug use and fail to address the root causes of the problem. Section 7. A call for change. In the heart of Amsterdam, a city known for its progressive values, a new debate is taking shape. Some experts advocate for a more radical approach, decriminalization or even legalization of all drugs. They believe that the current laws are outdated and ineffective. They argue that the current prohibitionist model has failed, only serving to enrich criminal organizations and drive the trade underground. This underground market is often violent and unregulated, posing significant risks to users and society. By treating drug use as a public health issue rather than a criminal one, they believe resources could be redirected towards prevention, treatment, and education. This shift could potentially reduce the stigma associated with drug use, encouraging more individuals to seek help. This approach, however, remains highly contentious. Many people are divided on whether this is the right path to take. Critics argue that it would send the wrong message, potentially leading to an increase in drug use and addiction, particularly among vulnerable populations. They worry about the impact on young people and the potential for increased health problems. The debate over the best way forward is likely to continue for years to come. As Amsterdam grapples with these complex issues, the world watches closely, eager to see what lessons can be learned from this bold experiment. Section 8. Amsterdam at a crossroads. Amsterdam stands at a crossroads, a city known for its picturesque canals, vibrant culture, and liberal policies. The city's tolerant image, once a source of pride, is now intertwined with the harsh realities of its drug trade. Tourists flock to its coffee shops and red light district, drawn by the promise of freedom and adventure. However, this freedom comes at a cost. The rise in drug-related crimes and the presence of organized crime syndicates have cast a shadow over the city. Finding a way to balance personal freedom with the need to protect its citizens from the dangers of addiction and organized crime is paramount. The choices made in the coming years will determine the future of Amsterdam and its relationship with drugs. Will the city continue to embrace its liberal stance, or will it adopt stricter measures to combat the growing issues? The debate is heated, with passionate voices on both sides. Some argue for maintaining the status quo, believing that regulation and education are the keys to managing the problem. Others call for a more radical approach, advocating for stricter laws and harsher penalties. The answer, as complex as the issue itself, remains to be seen. The future of Amsterdam hangs in the balance, and the decisions made today will shape the city for generations to come.